All right, today we're playing detective. We're going to peel back the labels on some of our favorite foods and find out what's really hiding inside. So let's get into it. I mean, have you ever really thought about it? That hot dog you grab at a game, your go-to bag of chips, even that bright, colorful cereal you loved as a kid. We see the food, we eat the food, but the ingredient list? Well, that's where the real story is. And trust me, it can get pretty surprising. Okay, let's open up our first case file. And it's a big one. Processed meat. You know, stuff that's a staple for so many of us. Think breakfast sausages, the ham in your sandwich. But lately, health organizations have been putting it under the microscope. So first things first, what even is processed meat? Well, the World Health Organization's Cancer Agency, the IARC, has a pretty clear definition. It's all about how the meat is transformed. We're talking salting, curing, smoking, basically anything done to boost the flavor or make it last longer. It's not just the meat, it's what's been done to it. Okay, and this is where things get, well, a little intense. Back in 2015, the IARC put processed meat in its Group 1 category. What does that mean? It means they have convincing evidence that it can cause cancer. And get this, it's in the same category as tobacco. For comparison, they put red meat in Group 2A, which is just probably carcinogenic. Big difference. Whoa, hold on. Group 1 with tobacco? That sounds absolutely terrifying, right? You're probably thinking, is eating a hot dog as bad as smoking a cigarette? And the answer is a big fat no. This is super important to understand. The WHO had to clarify this themselves. The group classification isn't about how dangerous something is. It's about how certain the scientists are that it can cause cancer. They're sure of the link, but the level of risk is a whole different ballgame. And this chart right here, it really puts that risk into perspective. Look at this. The Global Burden of Disease Project estimates that diets high in processed meat are tied to roughly 34,000 cancer deaths a year around the globe. Now, don't get me wrong, that's a lot of people, but then you look at the numbers for tobacco and alcohol, we're talking 1,600,000. It's not even in the same league. It's a completely different scale of risk. Okay, so what is the actual risk we're talking about? Well, a huge analysis of 10 different studies figured this out. For every 50-gram portion you eat every day, and that's roughly one hot dog or maybe 2 slices of ham, your risk of colorectal cancer goes up by about 18%. All right, let's close that case file and open a new one. Case file number 2, food dyes. We're moving on from the stuff that makes food last longer to the stuff that makes it look, well, bright and fun. You know, all those vibrant colors in our snacks and drinks. So the big concern here isn't cancer. It's something totally different. Behavior. California's EPA actually did a deep dive on this. They wanted to know if all those synthetic food dyes, the ones you find in like everything, could be linked to things like hyperactivity, inattention, and restlessness, especially in children. You know when you look at an ingredient list and see red 40 or yellow 5? Well, this is what that actually is. These aren't just, beet juice or something. Nope. These are complex chemical structures cooked up in a lab. They're specifically designed to be super stable and dissolve in water, which makes them perfect for food manufacturing. So, to figure this out, the Cal EPA team didn't just do one study. They did a massive review of all the science out there, pulling together the results from 27 different clinical trials. And their conclusion? Yeah, they found that these synthetic dyes can actually cause or at least worsen behavioral issues like inattention and hyperactivity for some kids. All right, time for our third and final case file. And this one is all about the stuff that's hiding in plain sight. We're going after the invisible ingredients, the ones designed to basically hijack your taste buds, add cheap filler, and sometimes even make you think you're eating something healthy when you're not. I'm sure you've heard of this one, MSG, or monosodium glutamate. It's a super powerful flavor enhancer. The weird thing is, it doesn't really taste like much on its own, but you add it to a potato chip, bam, suddenly you get that deep, savory umami flavor that just makes you want to eat the entire bag. This quote just nails it. Its job is to hijack your taste buds. It's not just about taste. It's about creating something called hyperpalatability. It's like it sends a signal to the most primal part of your brain that just screams, "This is amazing, eat more." It basically short-circuits the signals that tell you you're full. And look, MSG is just the tip of the iceberg. This whole process is kind of wild. It often starts with something called enriched flour, which sounds good, right? But it means they've stripped out all the natural good stuff and then just sprinkled a few synthetic vitamins back in. Then they'll add cheap oils like soybean or canola, And the sugar, oh man, the sugar. A tiny little single-serving yogurt can have more added sugar than a donut. It's crazy. So when you put all these case files together, you start to see a pattern, don't you? Preservatives that are linked to cancer, additives that are linked to behavior, flavors that are literally designed to make you eat more. It's kind of the story of modern processed food. It's less about nutrition and more about shelf life, how it looks, and making sure you come back for more.
Okay, so after all that, you might be feeling a little freaked out. But listen, the goal here is not to make you afraid of your pantry. It's the opposite. It's about being empowered. So let's take everything we just learned and turn it into a superpower, reading food labels like a total pro.
I'm going to give you a super simple 3-step guide. You can do this with any package in the grocery store. Step 1. Look at the serving size. Seriously, sometimes it's ridiculously small. Step 2. Glance at the main nutrition facts. Keep an eye out for added sugars and sodium. And step 3, this is the most important one. Read the entire ingredient list. That's where the real story is hidden. And as you're scanning that list, here are some of those red flags we've been talking about. Things like high fructose corn syrup, MSG, artificial colors, and so on. Now, seeing one of these doesn't mean you have to throw the product on the floor and run away. It's just a sign. It tells you, hey, this is a highly processed food, and now you know exactly what those ingredients are in there for. And once you have this knowledge, making smart swaps becomes so easy. Take that flavored yogurt, for example, the one with 18 grams of added sugar. Instead, just grab the plain yogurt right next to it. It has 0 added sugar. Then you can go home, throw in some actual fruit, maybe a little honey if you want, and boom, you're the one in control of the sweetness, not the food company. Look, at the end of the day, this whole thing isn't about making a list of good foods and bad foods. It's just about knowledge. It's about understanding what you're actually eating and why those ingredients are in there in the first place. The goal is to walk into a grocery store feeling confident, not confused. So really, the only question left for all of us is, how much do we really want to know about what's on our plate?